Hey everybody, how's it going? Can you hear me out there? Somebody put in the chat that you can hear me, so that way I know that we're on and we're good, and I would appreciate it very much. Okay, got it. Good. Welcome. This is Wednesday, November the 11th. It's 12:02 on the East Coast, and that means it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, where our panelists are from. And I am still kind of rolling the dice and hoping that they're going to be here. They're not on the call yet, but we'll see. Anyway, very excited about the topic for today, and that is the greatest investment on earth. Now, you may be familiar with the quote, the greatest investment on earth is earth. That's from Louis Glickman. And I discovered that quote, I don't know, 15 years ago. But the way my daddy always used to say to me is, son, buy dirt because they're not making any more of it. Just buy land. And so that's the topic today, buy land. If our guests get here and they are, I believe, on the way. I've been emailing back and forth with them this morning a little bit with their office. And so it is early out there. So we're going to give them a little break. We got about 10 or 15 minutes of preliminaries to do anyway. Chip is on the call. Chip, you there? You got your microphone on? Turn your mic on, Chip. All right. Well, while Chip is unmuting his microphone, I am. What I would like for you to do is make this a networking meeting. Go into the chat and say hello to everyone and tell us where you're from and pick a number between 1 and 100. Hey, are you there now, Chip? All right. Hey, man, I'm doing your thing. So pick a number between 1 and 100. And today we've got a course to give away. And some of you have already won the course. I've got to get a new course. We'll have a new course in 2021 to be giving away and promoting. But still, today's course is Real Estate Investing Quick Start. And we'll say more about that in just a minute. But tell us where you're from. Robert, I see you there in the chat from Hutchinson, Kansas. Thank you for joining us, man. I'm interested to know how you found out about us. And Ms. Porter from Fairburn, Georgia. And Nina from Atlanta. That's great. All right. So let me make some announcements. I'm going to switch over here to this screen and see. Now you're looking at the announcements, right? This is today. We're going to be talking about the greatest investment on earth with Jill DeWitt and Stephen Butala. And I hope that they'll be here in just a minute. And tomorrow night, we are going to be talking about, really what this is. I call it a lease sandwich. They're talking about a way to acquire houses with a lease and sell houses with a lease. And Michael Matthey and Tanfin Michelle are going to be here tomorrow night. Now, the interesting little twist in this is in the morning early, I am flying to Louisville, Kentucky, and we are going to do the inaugural meeting of Flipping Louisville. And that's going to be exciting tomorrow night. They're battling an uphill battle with the pandemic. People still don't really want to come out. And they called yesterday and wanted to know if we still wanted to go forward. Yeah, we're not going to have a big crowd. That's okay. Don't care. We're going to have fun. And we'll be in Louisville. If you're anywhere near Louisville, Kentucky, come out tomorrow night to the Flipping Louisville event. And I'll be leading this Zoom call from there. And we're probably not going to try to add the complexity of Ecamm Live in tomorrow night. So just one camera. But Tan told me, now I probably shouldn't tell you exactly how much money she made in the past week, but it's a lot in this process. If you understand how to do the lease sandwich, you can make a lot of money with no rehabs, buying nice houses that don't need repairs. This is one more way to get involved in the business and make a good amount of money. Now, the little pink houses, my understanding of it is they have created a brand around this strategy. And they've got territories and they can help you get started. There's training and so forth and so on. They'll be talking all about that tomorrow night. Okay. Next Wednesday, Dr. Curlew is coming. She was scheduled to appear last month and she had family emergency the day of. So we have rescheduled her. I bumped another topic that I wanted to do. We'll do it in 2021. But next Wednesday, because I really wanted you to hear this lady and what she has to say. And that's next Wednesday at noon, Dr. Margaret Curlew. And we're going to talk about some of the assumptions that society and our formal education teaches us about how to acquire wealth. And going to kind of break down some of those myths, okay? Then next Thursday night's our last meeting of the year. After next Thursday night, we won't meet again until the second Wednesday of January. And I want to end it on a bang, not with a bang up, this is how you're going to grow your business and blow up, the world and make $1 million in 2021. Instead, something that's probably more important. 2020 has been a really strange year, right? And if you think about it enough and focus on the negative things, you can find a lot of things that probably didn't go your way this year. Things that were surprises. I mean, storms and hurricanes and politics and destruction and rioting and disease and all of these things that just seem to dominate the news cycles. What we're going to do next Thursday night is we're going to, for a little while, put that out of our mind, and we're going to focus on gratitude. I've got a brief message on the power of gratitude in your life. And now what I'm doing is I'm soliciting from my friends, my show listeners, and from you, 2 to 3 things that you're thankful for. And we're going to spend some time next week just being thankful for those things. All right. We'll mute you there a little bit, Chip. Okay, now get back over here. There is something to be said for the power of collective gratitude. And we're going to do that. We're going to focus on that next Thursday. I hope you'll join us. I'm going to unmute everybody on the call that wants to talk at some time or another and give you the opportunity to share some things that you're thankful for. If you take time to do this, and, we are getting toward Thanksgiving season, right? If you take time to do this, it has a powerful impact in your own life. But when it happens in a group of people, there's something almost magical about it. And I think we can achieve that even on a Zoom call. And that's what I'm going for next week. This is Flipping America. As you know, it is a show. The Flipping America show is heard coast to coast 3 times a week, 1.4 million listeners in October. We're very pleased and proud of that. And we formed the RIA at the start of 2020. It's been a fantastic year. When we wrap up next week, we'll have just about 90 presentations of content that go in the archives for the RIA, and members will be able to access that. Then the Flipping America Academy is our rebranding of the courses that we do. And during the 6 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking time off. We're going to get in the studio here. We're going to redo a few things that you see behind me. And we're going to finish up some courses that are started and make some new courses. So we have some things lined up for you in 2021. Pretty exciting stuff. Can't wait to do it. Then it is the Buyers Club. I'll say more about the Buyers Club in just a minute, but this is a done-for-you service to invest in cash flow. Then the store is coming next year at some point, but before the store comes, the network will come, and we'll be saying a lot more about that as we get to that. That'll probably be mid to late January for the Flipping America Network. This is the RIA portion of the Flipping America, and here are some reasons to join: admission, access, discount, value. And if you want to lead a local group, we're probably not going to take any more new leaders in 2020 because we've only got another week of meetings. But if you want to start off 2021 leading a local group of real estate investors, we welcome you. We've got some openings in the metro Atlanta area, but also anywhere you are, anywhere you want to be. It can be as broad as a city like Flipping Louisville or Flipping San Antonio, or it can be as narrow as your neighborhood, like Flipping Meadow Glen, or whatever your neighborhood is named. I don't really care. But we provide a lot of resources for you and training on how to lead a group. And you have an opportunity to stretch your legs a little bit and learn the business as you help others in the business. It's a pretty cool thing. This is the course, Real Estate Investing Quick Start, 15 lessons on how to get started investing in real estate. I cover the gamut of activities. I talk about being a wholesaler. I talk about using bird dogs. I talk about relating with realtors. I talk about what a deal looks like and what a deal is not. I teach you a little bit about to run the numbers, that both for flips and rentals. I give you contracts. I give you paperwork to use with your bird dogs. I give you some insight into how I work with realtors. I work with realtors across the country, and I manage to make new friends nearly every day, but at least once or twice a week, I'll talk to a new realtor or a new contractor. And I'll talk to you about all of that in this course. It's designed to be quick. It's designed to be taken in less than 30 days. It's 15 video lessons. And those lessons are all 10 or 15 minutes. One of them's a little longer than that. But it's all supposed to be quick, and it's supposed to get you out there and making offers. I want to see you making offers in 2 weeks. If you're brand new, you won't feel like you're ready to make offers in 2 weeks. Most people don't, but that's okay. I want you to make offers before you feel like you're ready. I teach you how to make an offer with some built in safeguards. So if somebody actually says yes to one of your offers, you can run it by someone around you with more experience to make sure that you're not about to make a horrible mistake. Okay. The key to this business is to get started. Yeah, you got to learn a few things, but you'll learn most of the things as you go. Get started. And that's what this is. That's why it's the quick start. And that's why you go through it pretty quickly. Then, if you want to dig deeper and really build a business, in 6 months, I will pour into you well, not everything I know, I guess, but everything I know that I haven't forgotten, everything that I can to get into from my brain and experience into you in 6 months with about 80 videos plus weekly coaching sessions on Wednesday night, a private coaching session with the people that are in the program. Membership is limited in this because um, I really want to have personal interaction with everyone in the group. So if you want to get in on the 6 month coaching, it's $6,000 normally, but because of the pandemic and only through next week, the Purple Mountains code will get it for half price. Use that code at the website, and it's actually a little less than $6,000. It's $5,967. I explain why that price later on, but Purple Mountains takes off half of it, so a little less than $3,000, and you're in the coaching program. You get me for 6 months. Okay. A lot of people are worried about the stock market right now, and maybe that's a pretty good thing. If you are, you should join the club. Here's the Flipping America Club. This is a brand new house. Well, it's not brand new, but it's new to us. We just got this under contract. This is in Illinois. And this is how it works. We buy houses like this at a pretty low price, and we sell them as is to someone in the community, and we sell or finance it to them. We are the bank. And that 39% there is your projected average annual return if you can sell for 2,000 down and 470 a month over 10 years. I've got this. I've got a dozen houses like this and 15 more on the way, about to be under contract. And we are now accepting members into the club. We're taking 60 more members before the end of the year. Here's one in Illinois. And this is a 3,000 square foot house that club members can buy for $9,500. Now, it's a little bit more damaged than some that I like. You need to kind of rebuild the front porch there. You can see where it's ripped off the house. But a 3,000 square foot house for $9,500, that's the club price. If no one in the club buys it, then I keep it. And then, so on this one, I plan to actually go to this little town and rehab and flip that house. There's a free webinar this month. You use this link, bit.ly/FA Buyers Club November. If you do that, you have the option of signing up for any Tuesday night. Now, I've been invited to do Tuesday night with Flipping Gwinnett next week with Jay Sekulo's group, and we're trying to figure out how to make it all work. But go ahead and sign up, and we'll make sure that you get access to wherever I'm going to be on Tuesday night. I'm going to do it next Tuesday night and then the following Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, and then that's it for November. Then I'm going to do it 3 times in December, and that's it for the year. And over those, between last night and the other 6 presentations, we will accept 60 members. If we get 60 members before, we might just shut it down because 60 is what we think we can take right now. If you want in, it's time to get in. All right, time to hear from our sponsors. American IRA can help you with your retirement investing. Put your retirement funds into real estate and get your returns tax deferred or tax free. AmericanIRA.com/flipping America. And you can also reach out directly to Mike Ventry, one of the smartest guys in the business, Mike Ventry, Ventry, at AmericanIRA.com, and ask him to help you get set up. They can do 401k conversions. They can help you convert a solo K. They can help you set up a solo K and then convert it to a self-directed IRA. All of those options are on the table. Just reach out to Mike and let him show you how. I've got Chip with me here. Let's go back over here to this camera. Hey, man, you're here now. You're on. Good to see you. All right. Yay. All right. Hey, everybody at Knoxville. Yep. I had that there. Yeah, yeah. Now you can share. Go ahead. Take over, buddy. I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing it. Are you guys seeing the presentation? Yeah. There you go. Now you're sharing. There you go. All right. Nice. Now, is this a flip or a burr? Okay. Yeah, my favorite. My favorite. Oh, that's good. Okay, man. Thanks. Go ahead and unshare your screen there, Chip. All right. And one more time, let's hear it from Flipping Knoxville. All right. Glad you're there. Okay. Jill and Stephen are with us. We are so glad to see you guys. Welcome to Flipping America. Okay. Turn your mic up a little bit if you don't mind. I can't hear you very well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So you're on the West Coast, right? Kind of early out there. Ah, is that so? We're looking at the Pacific Ocean? Wow. All right. So, great. All right. Today we're going to talk about the greatest investment on earth, in my opinion, and that is Earth. And, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but last Thursday night we do a call of Wednesdays at noon and Thursdays in the evening. Last Thursday evening, our guests were Max Edmond and Edson and Ryan Doucette. You know those guys. Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like we planned it, but we didn't really plan it. I guess it's a God thing. But I'm so glad that you guys are here today to take us down the road to buying land. All right. First of all, let's get some preliminary questions about. Well, actually, let me do this. Let me let each of you just take a minute and just tell us who you are, say your name, tell us about a little bit about what you're doing right now, and I've got some background questions to ask you. Right, I can tell. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I use the hair as a disguise against my nerdiness, but I'm pretty nerdy. Yeah. All right. So, okay, Stephen, this question, you know what? Jill, we'll ask you this first. All right. Most of the people, in fact, if I've had 300 guests on the shows over the years, 299 of them are doing what they're doing now, but that's not what they wanted to do when they were little. When you were a little girl and you thought about what you wanted to be when you grew up, what was it? Okay. Well, what about you, Stephen? Do I call you Stephen or Stephen Jack? Billy Bob. All right. Oh, really? Okay. So it's Jack and Jill. That's cute. That's awesome. Well, I mean, yeah, you're sitting there and you got the Pacific Ocean right out there, and you could sit there. From what I can see right now, you could sit there and people watch all day. And I'm sitting here in a windowless office or studio in downtown Atlanta, and the view is interesting if I could just see outside, but I can't. So the the price we pay for the fame, right? All right. Anyway, okay. So now, probably neither one of you majored in land purchasing in college because I don't think there is that. But you got involved in land investing. How? Either one of you.
Or notices that I wanted to buy the property overnight because long distance charges were cheaper. And it was a closed data set. There were about 15,000 facilities back then nationwide. And it worked. I ended up getting a client who ended up hiring me, and I ended up being a partner there, but using data to buy real estate. And so over the course of doing a bunch of deals and pulling my hair out, because I mean, doing a long-term care facility real estate deal is the most painful transaction there ever can possibly be. You've got to get federal government and state government approval. You have to get, there's lenders involved, and it takes a year.
Yeah.
And when anybody who's done deals knows that time kills deals, people change their mind, all kinds of stuff happen. People, there's all kinds of things that can happen in a year. So I quickly moved into buy the easiest transaction on the planet, which is buying a piece of land and selling it, you know, with no lender and really just a buyer and a seller on the phone.
All right. So somewhere along the way, you met Jill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jill and I joined forces about 12 years ago
Mm-hmm.
ish, 10 or 12 years ago. And I'll tell you, I mean, people ask me, we're guests on other people's shows also. And people ask me like, what's the one thing that changed your life? And it was Jill, because
Thanks.
when you've got a business partner that's got a different skill set, I'm the data person, and I'm the person who goes into the dark room and concocts these offers, and we get 10,000, 20,000 offers out at a time, and where to send them and all of that. But I'll tell you, when that happens, I just walk away and she takes over. And so we do a tremendous number of transactions because of Jill's personality on both the buy side and the sell side. And that's what was missing when I was doing it on my own.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh. So it's a nice partnership.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hates to talk on the phone, and I love to talk on
Yeah.
the phone.
It's easier to
works
talk
great.
into the camera when no one's talking back. except me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because when my career started, I was a public speaker, and it was easier for me to speak in front of a crowd than to talk in front of a microphone with no one there. But it's just,
Mhm.
it's the way it's all in what you're used to, I guess. All right. So now you're buying this land and you're doing real well. What prompted you to get into the education of others?
Well, that started based on really our customers wearing us down. We had,
Oh,
over our career, we were happily just buying and selling land, doing our own thing, having our nice little company, and we had so many of our buyers that would say, "All right, come on, I'm buying it from you guys. I'm marking it up, and I'm making money off of it. How the heck are you buying it so cheap?"
Consistently.
Right. And, so we would say, all right, here's what we do. And then some of them, wanted to learn this. Some said, forget it. All right, that's too much. I'm happy to just buy from you as a kind of like we call ourselves wholesalers. Um, and then they would mark it up and sell it on terms or whatever they would do. But
They
there
couldn't
was
get the data. They didn't have the right tools.
that too.
Go ahead, Jill.
Well, they didn't. So they talked us into it. We said, all right, and we sat down, and it was a good year by the time that we got it written and recorded and came up with this, Land Academy. I mean, it's so funny because Jack used to say, all right, no one's going to want this. And, this is kind of who's going to really want to care about our business model? This is kind of silly, but we did it anyway. And then who knew, it turned out great. And it did sing to a lot of people. And we have a community now of almost 500 that work really closely with us. And now we're just all doing bigger and better deals together.
Yeah, we created an environment of business partners.
Yep.
We did, and it was an unintended consequence. We were out to really soothe that question. How are you guys doing this?
Just
and
share
now
it.
it's like we've got, on a daily basis, we have extremely bright people in our group bringing deals to us, and in some capacity we participate as a partner.
Yes. Okay. That is fascinating. And I've experienced that a little bit myself. Some of my most motivated mentoring students are now in business with me in one capacity or another. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yep.
All right. So now that's okay. That's a little bit about you and how you got to where you are. But now I would like let's hear the elevator pitch on why land as opposed to anything else people could be doing.
Well, that's a great, that's a great question. And I would ask it like this: why data as opposed to anything else? Because we used to have a big banner in our office that said, we're a tech company that happens to sell real estate and buy and sell real estate. And so land is about 95% of the business that we're in. We flip a ton of houses also. And now we're buying and selling mobile homes. And depending on the deal, we're either replacing the mobile home on the land that it's on, and also mobile home parks. We're putting tiny houses in and stuff. We're just starting to do that. So, and that's all because I can procure a really reliable data set. Land, why is land 90% of it? Because you just don't have to do anything at all. We don't, with the exception of these mobile homes where we just go in and scrape it and replace it, we don't do any improvements ever, even with the houses. I believe that there's two ways to create equity in a real estate deal: buy it for cheaper than it's actually worth in its current condition, or improve it. Right. And Jill and I have never been so close to splitting up as when we renovated a house one time.
Yeah, that's right.
A couple of them. We've done several, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've been saying for years, if you want to test your marriage, just rehab a house together.
That's great advice.
Yeah. All right. So now you mentioned the two ways to, what was it? The two ways to create value.
Equity.
Yeah. And I've got a 50-year investor on the call, Gordon, and Gordon texted me. If you're listening, Gordon, send me a text if there is a third way, because those are the only two ways that I know of, and I've been at it for 20 years. You buy below value, which is what we do with forced sales at the foreclosure steps, or you add value. And sometimes people call that forced appreciation. So with land, and you've already said you're not doing anything with it. So with land, you're buying it below value. That means you must be finding motivated sellers.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. I don't want to ask you to give away all your secret sauce or, the contents of your course, but tell us a little bit about finding motivated land sellers.
About the secrets thing, we Jill and I have a policy we did right when we started in 2015 with Land Academy about just telling it everything.
We'll share.
So we just don't, there's no secrets at all. We don't keep anything for ourselves. I'll tell you which counties are great to send letters and which counties aren't, but the very, very, very long story short, and we've been accused of oversimplifying this in environments like this. We send out 10,000 offers at a time at about 20% of what we believe that piece of land is worth in its current condition. And about 1,500 people, for every 1,500 units that we send, somebody signs it and sends it back. And in some counties, it's as low as 300. But I like to say 1,500 so it doesn't set an unrealistic expectation.
Wait a minute, you said 10,000, then you said 1,500.
Of the 10,000, like one per 1,500 says, heck yeah, I'll take your deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, let me cash out tomorrow.
So we do 5 to 10 per mailer, 5 to 10 transactions.
Yeah, I was just going to say you get about 7 transactions per 10,000 then.
Yeah.
All right.
Depends how happy Jill is when she answers the phone.
And then, and what now? I was still doing math.
Jill is a huge, I just do the data part and get in all the math and stuff. But I'll tell you, I will never get tired of listening to Jill blindly answer a phone and take a call from somebody who's livid about how we valued their asset, turn them around, and buy their property for what she wants.
Oh,
True.
that is a
It's
good
true.
skill.
It's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So since you don't have any secrets, I want to hear what you say.
I befriend them. Well, first of all, I apologize and tell them whoever did it's getting fired. Because I'll make a joke about it, kind of thing.
Do you really say that?
Sometimes I do. If they're really mad, I'll just say, oh, we obviously. Oh, I'm sorry. I left off a 0. Oh, I left off 3 zeros. Okay. Sorry. So we'll kind of make a joke out of it. One person is this lady that I've got right now who sent me a picture of her and her horse. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still working on this. And she's she happens to be a commercial real estate broker in Northern California. I'm like, this is the funniest thing. She was so flipping mad at me. And now she's my friend. And so, and we're going to do the deal on my terms because her husband doesn't want it anymore. But, they're initially mad. There's a first wave when the mail hits. You get the, oh, who the heck are you people? And not putting it that nicely. Yeah. And they send back messages or they call. It's just so darn funny. But then in the mix, after a few days, then here come the real people. And it continues on forever. We get calls from 10 years ago where they didn't like the offer then. They stuck it in a file. And guess what? Now it's a rainy day and they're looking at our offer going, do you still want to buy this?
Yeah.
So the whole magic, if you will, is, they're good offers. They're not stupid offers. They're not like I'm giving you $500, something embarrassing. They're really low, but they really make you think. And you're really just trying to get it in the right hands of someone that says, gosh, you know what? I'm tired of getting a tax bill, or we're never going to retire there, or, our car just broke down. You're looking for that situation. Or our favorite is like, I inherited this. We didn't even know dad had it, kind of thing. And they're so happy, they're like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to cash out. And then when they call, the second secret awesome part is you're a real person. I'm not an agent. I'm not a broker. I really am an owner. What you and I agree on, we're going to make it. And it's going to happen how you and I agree, when you and I agree. And the cashier's check's going to be made out how you want it. And when they can work with you, and it really is just a buyer and a seller making a deal, it's easy.
Wow. All right. So
I like this. I use a gallon of milk analogy. There's 3 places you can buy a gallon of milk. You can buy it at a convenience store. It's very expensive. You can drive a little further to the grocery store. It's a little less expensive. Or you can go to Walmart, or it's going to be, it's going to be cheapest. But in those 3 cases, there's very different prices for a gallon of milk, but you don't yell at the clerk about the price. You know that it's a lot more convenient to just go down the street and pay full price for a gallon of milk. So it's the same thing that's the service that we're providing. In a lot of cases, we have to undo legal things. Like if someone passes away with a piece of property in their name and their kids are staring at a will that says, my dad gave me everything. There's a lot of legal stuff that you have to do to get that, depending on which state it's in. And so we do that too. And the vast majority of the people are very, very thankful.
They are.
That's good. Yeah. So I can see the possibilities. Now, do you ever get into situations where people will finance the land to you?
We don't request that. You mean like?
So we always pay cash. You know what? That's the thing too. We're cash people. That's really our thing.
Yeah.
We buy everything for cash. We don't finance it.
Okay.
So
on the buy side or the sell side.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. So how do you make cash flow with the land if you don't finance it?
We resell it immediately.
You don't hold any land.
I'll buy some.
We used to sell on terms.
Right.
And it's just became
a lot of work.
The fallout. Here's the truth of it. What is it? What do you call it? The truth time. This is on our
Truth
show.
time.
Truth time.
Yeah.
You can sell property on terms you guys know this from houses, really, really quickly. Everybody loves seller financing, but the rescission rate, or the percentage of people that fall out after a certain amount of time and never get any money back, is very high. With rural vacant land, it could be as high as 90%. And then you just go resell it. And that never sat well with me. People pay for 2 years. They never really use the property. Some stuff changes in their life and they stop paying. You can't get them on the phone. That's not cool. We would rather have a collection of buyers that are wholesalers like us that just buy the property from us and then they go retail it.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, what's a person to do to get started in this if they're not sitting on a pile of cash?
That's easy.
Well, Jill, go ahead.
Because we now fund deals. We have got to the point where, I can only do so many deals in my team, and there's so much out there. So that's one of the things that we do. And you don't have to be, a member of our community of Land Academy. We are firm believers of no good deals should go to waste.
Yeah.
I think everybody believes that, so whoever you are, if you're out here doing this and you find a deal, you found something for, $20,000, we all know is worth 80 kind of thing. We all know we can buy it for 20 and double our money tomorrow. We're going to be scrambling to fund the deal. So we actually do that.
We have people in our group that we're doing deals with that are very, very new, that have sent us deals that are $300,000 to $400,000. I think what's that deal in Santa Barbara County?
We're buying it for like $485,000 and we're under contract for like 1.3.
And this person's brand new and we're splitting it with them. So it's all about data. In this business, people spend way too much time and energy on the actual asset. This is my opinion, instead of the data.
It's true.
If you learn how to buy property for 50% of what it's worth right now, you don't need to have any money. You just need to know people like us. And I say this to young, new people all the time. Every week I give this speech. Forget about the asset. Just learn how to send out blind offers and learn how to put that machine together to respond to those offers, and learn how to have a personality on the telephone, and to hit your numbers from a mailer, I call it mailer yield standpoint, and then just call us. There's people in our group that are way more wealthy than we are.
Yeah.
They have no intention, for whatever reason, to ever learn data or send it out. They just want to be the bank, and it works out good for both sides.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. Now listen, everybody that's on the call, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A tab, because I'm not really monitoring the chat right now, but I am looking at the Q&A. I don't see any open questions. But if you want to ask us, Jack and Jill, a question, then be sure that you put it in there, and I'll make sure they see it, but they can see it as well. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the Land Academy.
Okay.
What does it take for someone to get involved, and how long does it take to learn it, and what are we going to learn?
It's pretty quick. Our program, it's about 15 hours of content, if you will, and it's our business model start to finish. We really sat down and decided that we're sharing everything, and so we know people that have, spent a weekend basically in a dark room, figuring this out. I think the hardest thing for people is you have to undo some things sometimes, like he said, which is so true. It's funny. I'm a girl and it's easy for me. I don't know why, but I see every property, whether it's a house or a piece of land, I do see it like a line item, and you have to think of these things like that. You can't say, oh, how pretty is the view, it's worth this. Don't think about that. And we all tell people too, like, don't go look at the property, because sometimes when you go stand on it, then you don't want to sell it.
You have to unlearn some stuff.
So yeah. So if you can, just get out of your own head, follow what we say, which is, there's steps to picking a county. There are triggers as to, you can see why this would work over here and not over here, and then once you pick the county, then there's real clear, easy steps to where to get the data. We share that. We even provide access to all that, how to download the data, what you're scrubbing out, and then how to price these offers. And this is all, the front end is all really Stephen. The first like 5 chapters or so are all Stephen. It's really all that technical part. And then now the offers go out in the mail. And then the second half of what we share is pretty much what I do, answering the phone and how to talk to these people and what the heck is a deed and what's the difference between this deed and that deed and how to undo some stuff. And just, God, I got to call the county. I don't know how to work with them on this and get things recorded and title agents. And so I share all the way to the end and including, how to, okay, how do you make it look good? What are good photos? How am I going to sell it and really, increase my profit? And now we've even gone to, who knew where we would be? Now we even help other people, growing their business. Now you have to think about, I got to think about, I'm hiring people now, and how do I build up a staff and
scaling?
Yeah, I just quit my job, and I got to think about these things now, and so we help with all that too. It's really cool.
We've got a couple of questions, and one of them is related to what you were just saying. Wilson wants to know: do you market your deals to developers, and what is your typical buyer's criteria?
Super cool. Yes, we do.
Question. Very, very good question.
It was really,
you know why what's so great about this question is whoever this person is thinking about the end.
Yeah.
So you can start correctly and get to the end. So I always start with the end first.
I know Wilson. He's a smart dude.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So absolutely. We put it, that's the thing too with, we have learned over the years to get it. You got to get it out there. And I mean, everywhere, and don't get too picky about this property is perfect over here or over here. You need to blast it to the planet, because this is a Stephen saying, there's only 2 reasons a property doesn't sell, which is true. One is it's priced too high, meaning you pay too much for it.
Not priced correctly.
Yeah, you priced it wrong. And 2, you're not reaching the right people. That's it. Because if it's priced right and you get in front of the right guy, they're going to want it
that day.
Exactly. So, and we sell to, it's amazing to me, because I'm constantly surprised about buyers that find us on everywhere from Instagram to, I have some, commercial properties. There's some that are real big dollar amounts. It's not really a social media worthy kind of a thing, even though we'll get it out everywhere. But I might do it with a broker. I'll use certain brokers for certain property types, and it goes fast. So we'll do, I'm trying to think with the specific question was about, I apologize.
Do you sell to developers?
Totally.
Yeah. So you know what? There's another way to answer it is there's 3 types of land. Basically 3 types of land. Rural vacant land, which we love. And especially with this COVID now, there's just a huge desire for people to get out of cities and get rural. Rural vacant land. Number 2 are infill lots, which is really what I think this question is about. Infill lots are properties that are, let's say, if you picture a piece of vacant land between 2 houses that you can put a house on, those are the easiest and fastest to sell, because what we do is pull anybody who's, if you go to the county, you can pull, it's a matter of public information. You can see who pulled a building permit in the last year. That's the person that's going to buy that property from you 9 times out of 10. So that's the second type. And then the third type is special use. Jill and I just did a deal this year that was zoned very specifically and intentionally zoned for hotel, motel. And so that was really easy to sell, because all we did was just took a look at all of the people who own nationally and locally motels and hotels in the county. And sure enough, they bought it really quickly. So, and I call that special use property. I mean, some people call it commercial, but if it was zoned for warehouse, we'd do the same thing. I would just look at the data, who owns a warehouse, and then sell it to them. And I would probably do that. We have a lot of confidence these days, but when I started out, I would do that before I bought it, so I didn't waste any money or time.
All right, that's really, really good. I'm almost distracted because I'm mesmerized by the possibilities here. My wheels are turning. Wilson wants to know: is direct mail your primary marketing venue?
For the acquisitions, it's our only. I've tried everything. I've tried postcards, letters. This is before Jill. Postcards, letters of interest. Even now we have a website, and I'm not plugging our own stuff, called Neighbor Scoop, which is a due diligence tool. So you can see, you can look up most of the properties that we deal with, if not all of them, don't have a mailing address. So they have an assessor's parcel number, an APN. And it's very, very difficult, or it was in the past, to find the freaking property because it's, it's just, in Google Earth, you put in an address and bam. So we added a component to that recently where you have their phone number, the owner's phone number. And so we tried texting and found out there's spam laws that really govern that. So we just always come back to direct mail.
Okay. Wilson also was following up. What do developers usually require?
They require the property for them to be about 20% from a pricing standpoint for what they can sell the house for when it's done. So $100,000 house, they need to see a $20,000 purchase price for them to make money. And I've learned that they make about 20% on regular houses. I'm not talking about custom homes. I'm talking about just like
tract homes,
a regular house in a regular place. So we need to buy for 10%.
Yeah, but that's per lot, right? They want to be at 20% per building lot. So they would, if you have, say, quarter acre lots, then you're talking about $80,000 an acre.
We don't subdivide, and we never do that. I've been down that path, and I'm going to help everybody on this call. Entitlements and rezoning and changing land changing is never going to happen. I'm telling you, it will never happen for a normal person unless you're a lawyer and you have a ton of patience and you don't have a spouse.
It takes a long time everywhere, but it takes an average of 5 years in California.
That's right.
It never works out.
Yeah.
It's just,
every time I go on the internet and I see people saying, learn how to rezone property or learn how to subdivide. And what sucks is it's so compelling financially.
It is.
You can get an urban acre and you can put, 5 properties on it. It's so financially attractive.
Well,
but it takes, when you sit down and go,
it's not possible.
Okay, 3 years I did this. What I can do in 3 years is way more than what they just did.
She says, you know how many deals you can do in 3 years?
Yeah.
When you just look at your time, how many deals you can just silly.
Yeah, it's not something I would advise either ever, but the regulatory climate in California is a little different than the rest of the U.S. You have an average of 5 years to get rezoning done in California. I reported on that in my show about, 8 months ago, because I was amazed. We were doing a show on the cost of construction, and 40% of the cost of construction is just the regulatory red tape that the developer has to go through.
Soft costs, yep.
Anyway, let's get on some more of the questions. Well, Daniel said, how do I get started making deals without having any money? I think we've answered that one. Find the deal and send it to, just contact Jack and Jill. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce this name. Elgon? Is this method for any state? What is the price of your system? Any special for veterans? How does it work if I want land for myself? Well, that's 4 questions.
Yeah. It's good.
Right.
Yes, it works in every state.
In every county.
What's interesting is, we're primarily not doing deals in California.
Yeah.
California's a great place to live, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else good about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, me too. I'm not doing anything in California.
Yeah, no. So it does. And if you just go, Elgon, if you go on Land Academy, I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head. If you go to landacademy.com and just click join, you will find all the information you're looking for about the costs. And if you reach out to my team, they'll hook you up. So you can send a note to support@landacademy.com. Maybe mention you saw us here, with Roger, and they'll hook you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
hey, special price. Huh?
Just argue. If you're interested, just argue with our staff about the price, and they'll give you. You'll eventually get the price you want.
Tell them you're a veteran and you know me.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Drop my name. That'll work.
Exactly. And it's funny. There's a lot of people, you're right. There's a lot of people that came to us because they're doing it for their primary residence, where they want to retire. They just wanted to learn how to buy land right for themselves. And then some said, oh, by the way, now it's paying for the land I bought. And then some just, that was just their only reason.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so that's a good reason.
maybe you can be a little both and make some money. Do you all ever keep any of the land that you buy?
This one has tried to, and then I sell it out from under him.
It's one of the things I teach we have a live event every year. And one of the things I teach is like, if you are so in love with this piece of property, you need to buy it, but you need to sell it.
Yeah.
Because whoever you're going to sell it to is going to fall in love with it just like you.
Exactly.
Like, I still have a piece of property in northern New Mexico that's got a waterfall on it. And, there's cabins all around it. And I just can't sell it. And
I don't blame you.
She doesn't have that problem.
It's the funniest thing. You would think it would be me holding on to it, but I'm like, nope, sell it. There's more. We'll get more.
20 years ago, I used to say to people, everything I own is for sale except for the wife and kids. And I'm looking at offers on the wife. But then she divorced me and that wasn't funny anymore. But now that's 10 years in the past. So it's funny again.
Oh gosh.
All right. Wilson did want to know, how long is your due diligence period?
It's about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah. That's actually, I did a little webinar on that on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, showing how, even if you're new, I want you to spend no more than 5 minutes on a deal.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it. You need to, and I'll tell you what you're looking for real quick. There were 4 A's and now we call them 5 A's. So your quick due diligence is, 1, does it have access? So that's A. 2, acreage. We usually say the bigger, the better. 3, affordability. Did you price it right? So it's all making sense. 4, attribute. Is there something great about it? Like the trees, the cabin. Is it near the Grand Canyon? I don't know. Some lake. Is it on a lake? And then 5, we added 5 for your due diligence, which is alive. You want, when the call comes in and you've got that person and they're steering your offer, you want to just quickly find out, is who's on there, are they alive and able to sign? If there's stuff you can undo, but in a perfect world, you're talking to Mr. Jones and you're seeing online like, yep, he's the owner, great. And whatever. So this is going to be easy and fast for both of us.
We have a database. It has 11,000 properties that passed our acquisition test, but we couldn't get around the legal issues of people who've passed away.
Yeah.
11,000 properties.
There's a lot.
And they're just sitting there. And eventually the municipality is going to sell them at the tax sale.
Yep.
That's it.
And then we get them that way.
We're going to buy it that way.
Well, and that's the next question. What a great segue, man. It's like I'm a pro at this or something. Eric wants to know, what are your thoughts about purchasing land at tax lien sales? And have you used this as a strategy?
I'm not going to be shy here. I could write the book on that. This whole thing started with me buying tax deeds and tax liens long before I met Jill and before the internet, on the steps of counties all over the Southwest, including California. So here's the problem with that. That's great, Jack. Then why don't you still do it? I'm a big, when you send these 10,000 offers out at a time, people decide for you. They do all the work for you. They decide whether or not they're going to sell their property. Instead of me, everybody does this wrong. Most people in real estate wake up in the morning and they start looking for a deal. We wake up in the morning and open letters and open offers, or look through a call log, or email of people that are real interested in selling their property. So you can go, like, Arizona is a great place to start to buy tax liens and tax deeds. You can go and get lists and lists and lists of tens of thousands of properties that financially make sense, but you got to do a lot of work. You have to sit there, go through the list, and figure it all out. Then you got to file a lawsuit, because that's what a tax lien foreclosure is. And who the hell likes lawsuits? No one. And so there's a big 6-month process, and then you end up with a piece of property that needs title insurance. And so I'm not knocking it. I started that way, and we still do. I still do tax lien foreclosures, and we just bought our third child, and I, because he's getting to know the business, just went and bought, I don't know, 25 or 30 tax deed properties in a central state in the country. So because he's learning. So I'm all for it. It's a hell of a lot of work. And I would highly recommend, there's never any replacement for sending out mail.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That is a quotable quote we can walk away with. There's never any replacement for sending out mail. All right.
There's in addition to, but not a replacement.
Wilson is curious as to whether or not your mobile home parks are your passive income.
Here's the thing with mobile homes, which people don't understand. A very material percentage of mobile homes sit on land that people own, that the mobile home owner usually owns. And so my favorite deal right now is buying a really old mobile home on land for between 20 and 30,000 bucks, scraping it and putting one back and putting a new one on and selling the whole thing. So there's that. And then as far as passive income goes, I'll tell you, I mean, the parks that we're looking at are all, we will sell them. I can tell you right now, because we improved it. When you scrape old mobile homes, put a new one on, the numbers are staggering, and they're financeable. That's the key. You have to make sure, because an old mobile home is not financeable at all, and it's going to be very, very hard, if not impossible, to get a bank to finance the whole deal and to tell them, hey, I know the mobile home is real old and it's valueless, but the dirt's worth something. And they're just going to shake their head and they don't know what to do with that. There's no slot in their computer for it to finance it. So, but when you put a new one on there, everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm.
The typical ROI on a deal like that is buy for 30-ish, maybe 20, and sell for 100, 150, 200 sometimes.
Yeah, but you got to pay for that new mobile home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're like $100,000. The problem's not the money. The problem right now is getting someone to answer the call at Clayton Homes, because they're
overwhelmed.
Extremely high demand.
Yeah.
The parks themselves, we put tiny homes and stuff on them, and we haven't done one yet. We have the first one under contract.
Yeah. I know Jim Clayton. I have his number, but he doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, good for him. Cool. He's smarter than all of us then.
Yeah. Oh, he sold out. He sold out probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago to Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And he's been happily retired. He's he dabbles in investment banking, but this is not about him. Anyway, cool. So I think that got your ROI question there, Wilson. I think he answered that.
We never do a deal, never, where we can't double our money. That's the worst case for us.
Wow, double your money. And that's in and out in a few months, typically, right?
Weeks, usually, yeah.
Sometimes days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is just terrific. And I have been enamored with land ever since the first time I talked with Jack Bosch. You guys probably know him.
Yep.
Nice guy. And I even set up a website. I never tell anybody about it. Nobody on this call has ever heard of it before, but I have a land buying website and I get leads off of it every once in a while, but I don't do anything.
You need Jill.
Yeah. Well, I have a Helen here who I'm thinking about tasking her maybe for this, but we'll see. I don't know exactly. You know how it is. At some point, there are more opportunities come your way than you really have time to respond to, even good opportunities. And I have to resist that shiny object syndrome myself because I talk to brilliant people like you guys all the time. This is great. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Wilson wants to know Wilson, you got a lot of questions today, brother.
This is great.
How do you analyze the deals?
Well, that's on me. So when the deals come in, I'm quickly, in 5 minutes or less, I'm making a decision based on first those 5 A's. And if it passes all those tests, goes to the next level. Now I'm digging in. I'm going, all right, did we price it right?
Yeah.
All right, what's for sale in this area? I'm looking all over the place. And it's just really everything that you have for free online. I'm going to put in Zillow. I'll put in that zip code on Zillow and see, all right, this is 10 acres. What else is out there for 10 acres? Whoa, there's a lot of them. Shoot. Now I may not want this so much. Or, wow, there's none. This is great. Whoa, wow. There's like 3 over 5 acres. And then I'll go look at the sold stuff and like just do a little digging. And I'm looking, especially with COVID times, I'm looking back I want to see last 6-12 months. I don't want to see the beginning of time, what's sold. I'm like, are things even moving in this area? So that's what I'm looking at too. And now I'm like, all right, things are moving here. This is great. And then I'll also even look at houses, even though it's a land deal. Land often follows houses. And I learned this from Stephen. So the trends. So if houses are moving pretty quick in there, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good about this too. Then I'm pulling the trigger. So it's really, I don't spend a day. I don't even spend, I mean, the hardest deal, I might spend a half hour on it to make a decision. And then the decision is made. We are lining it up and we're buying it.
There's a several step process
Okay.
in pricing these mailers in the beginning anyway.
Right.
So by the time it gets to Jill, if she gets something that's signed or they call her and say, this price does work for me, she knows that we're going to do great on it.
I'm looking to undo it. I'm looking for a reason
yeah.
not to do it, really, because it's usually going to be great. I'm just double
The analysis
checking.
happens during the mailer process, not at the end.
So in the process now, you send out the mail, and Wilson wants to know your data sources, and you just said all the regular like public facing things like Zillow and Redfin and all that. But of course, Wilson, you ought to use Priced. We just had them on last Thursday night. I'll be sending out that replay video any day now. But
well, we're licensed to really answer your question. The data source to send the mail out is we're the only licensed providers for all three data sources, which is RealQuest Pro, Black Knight, Data Tree, Black Knight Tuttle Pro 24/7, and then First American's Data Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the real data source. They're aggregators for the county sites. And it's funny, Max approached us with this Priced product. And we had a bunch of conference calls on us because he wanted to make it a product of Land Academy. And I'll tell you, I'm not knocking those guys at all. I think they're onto something that's really great, but there's anomalies and strange stuff that goes on with pricing, and you got to just be really careful. There's no button.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not knocking those guys. Those kids are brilliant.
Yeah. So I want to think about the process for a minute. You send out a letter that's got a price on it. They respond to you and they say, yes, I'll take it. Now your letter, I guess, of course, the contingency there is if you get them the answer back and then you take a further look at it and you decide you don't want it, I guess you just don't ever send the offer over. But at this point, you send over a formal purchase and sale agreement, email it or whatever.
Not really.
We mail purchase agreements.
Because it's a one-page purchase agreement with a letter that they get.
Oh.
So it's ready for them to sign it and send it back.
So when they sign it and send it back, you're under contract.
Exactly. Yes. And I can just open escrow and continue on. And then there's also in the purchase agreement, though, there are contingencies for me that I can get out of it.
Yes. That was going to be my next question.
Exactly. Assuming back taxes are, within reason, and it's up to me to decide what's within reason kind of thing. And, it has to pass all of our due diligence tests. It's kind of, you can see, we share them. You can dig on our website if you really want to and see our actual letters. We're happy to share that.
Okay. Wilson wants you to repeat those data sources, but I believe if I heard you, you're the only co-marketers?
So it's CoreLogic is the parent company, and it's RealQuest Pro. So we have that, and we share that with all of our community. Then number two, out of Vegas is Black Knight Financial Services. They're Agent Pro, they're Title Pro, all that good stuff. They have a ton
of products.
They have a lot of things, so we share all that. And then number three is Data Tree, which is First American Title's source, which is funny, oddly enough. First American used to own CoreLogic. They split off. Now they have their own products, and they're a little bit different, the different nuances. Yeah. So it's depending on you, how you see data.
That's right.
And depending a little bit on some of the property types that you're mailing for, you might use a different product. One might be a little bit better for land. One might be a little bit better for houses. But you have access to all three.
Jill and I went in and negotiated really good contracts based on our whole group's data usage. So
and our history.
It's very, very inexpensive. It's way cheaper to get it through us than if you walked in off the street. It's very expensive.
Exactly.
All right, and I put those in the chat as well as you were saying them, and you guys may be tracking with this, but CoreLogic's about to get bought again.
Yeah, yes. I saw that.
Uh-huh. Oh, I hope it's not CoStar.
It is CoStar.
Well, that's one of the people. I don't know if it's official
CoStar
yet.
was in a bid for them, but they're courting a
Yeah.
different buyer to try to keep CoStar from buying them.
Thank you.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of CoStar.
But well, who knows? Who knows how it's going to turn out?
I could save everybody a lot of time and energy. Black Knight is
Yeah.
going to take over the world from a real estate data standpoint. That's why RealQuest is entertaining this, because they know that.
They're coming from
Interesting.
behind and they're
Yeah.
awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Eric wants to know, how much should you expect to spend per month on mailers? If you're sending out 10,000, that's probably at least $10,000.
Well, 10,000 is because we have a staff and we have an army of people in the Philippines working for us. A normal person just starting out, I don't think could handle 10. You would get so many, it would be unmanageable. So I always say right in the beginning, plan on sending out 1,500 offers a month. And then 1,500 when you can handle it. You've done your first deal. If you're experienced, you can handle more than that. Then start sending out 1,500 a week. And then from there, you're going to decide. We have all different types of people in our group. So we have one guy in our group that is extremely happy. His wife beat cancer. And so his mission in life was to do one real estate deal a month, 12 deals a year, and make $100,000 on each deal. And that's what he does. So he doesn't have to send out. He sends out a very small amount of mail, probably less than 3,000 a month. So it depends on what you're after. But 1,500 is the number I always use. We own a company called Offers to Owners, the number 2, which is, again, we have a bulk mail license with the post office, and we make it, the customers for O2, we call it O2O, only do this. We don't bulk mail catalogs or print any of that stuff. It's just for this.
I'll give you that, like the numbers that it's roughly about 55 cents, roughly, to get our 2-page with postage, everything, in the mail.
This is not, and I don't mean to plug stuff on your show.
So yeah.
Oh no, I ask you.
Kind of
it's
be
fine.
budgeting.
It's fine. I ask you. Don't worry about it. I am delighted to plug things that I believe in, and I believe in you guys. And
Thank you.
So if you're sending out 1,500 and it's about 55 cents, then you're talking about $850 a month.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the data's like,
maybe that helps you.
10 cents, like 10 cents. And you're going to download like 2,000 lines of data. So it's like $200. It's free budgeting.
So think about $1,000 a month to start. Get a deal done.
$1,000.
Get somebody to say yes. Then call Jack and Jill and have them partner on the deal with you. And then you've got your money for your next thing, and just snowball it from there. You set aside your profits to invest in more mailing and take off with it.
Again, we have a website called Land Tank. It's like Shark Tank for land. And if you group as a member of Land Academy, when you find a good deal, you just throw it into Land Tank, and everybody in our group gets a notice. And no one's ever put a property on Land Tank that hasn't gotten funded.
So that's what happens. Like I'll start helping people funding so many deals, and then they go dark because they don't need me anymore.
Because they get rich.
And
it happens to us all the time.
And then they're funding everybody else's deals too. And I'm like, hey, but that's okay. That's how we made Land Tank. There's enough to go around. We all share it. We all help each other. That was another beautiful thing about our community is we are all, there's so many deals. We are all giving and sharing and helping the next guy. We all remember when we were in that position, and all you're doing is making a partner and people that want to work with you. So that's what we do. So I'm happy to share and help anybody.
All right. So what's the website where people need to reach you?
Okay. So landacademy.com is the main one where you'll find everything. I would highly encourage anyone here that really wants to talk to our members and kind of get a feel for what's going on. Check out our online community, and it's all free. It's just go to landinvestors.com.
That's the first step.
And start talking to people.
Get a username on Land Investors and ask questions like, is this a bunch of crap?
What kind of deals you're doing?
I saw the 2 idiots on the show. really what's the real deal? Like, how much does it cost? Ask our other members, because everybody on that is, they're 6 months ahead of you, and it'll save you a ton of time and frustration.
All right. Wilson has another question, and I've got one more. Wilson, so what is your favorite land deal types?
I don't mind.
Ones where you can double your money in a day.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, my sweet spot, I'll tell you for real, Wilson, is like buying properties in the $20,000 to $30,000 price range. They're a different level seller, and no one's gonna sneak. They're excited to get an offer in that range. It's not like a $2,000 offer. It's $28,000. They're like, you know what? We got to look at this now, babe. I know we were going to retire here. I know we're going to do whatever, that kind of a thing. So those are really easy to get. And I'm doing it because, you know what? It's probably worth, $80,000 or $90,000 really, but that's not what I want to do. I want to buy it at $20,000 or $30,000, sell it for $50,000 or $60,000, because again, those people, there's so many people out there with a lot of money, and that's a very easy check to write. You'd be surprised how many people are like, done. And especially when they're buying something for 50, 60,000 that's worth 90 or 100, everybody feels good. So that's my wonderful thing. And I'm finding those in the middle of the country. Usually there's some attribute. They might have a view or a lake or something. And what was I going to say? An acreage. It's a little more, they're not infill lots. They might be, 20, 40 acres, somewhere in there.
Okay.
In a small town.
Yeah.
Or in the outskirts of a small town that's within a day's drive of a big city. So like Southern Illinois is really good right now. Any of those states where you can drive from Chicago or drive north from Dallas, or
outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Outside of Nashville.
Yeah, Atlanta. Those are great markets.
Sure.
Georgia's a great market, actually.
Okay. I just got a message to read Chip's text before we go to the winner. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So I have a guy on my team that really struggles with getting yelled at. So much so that he's doing a lot of computer offers now on houses instead of handling the phone. What word of encouragement would you have for him?
Easy. And you are not alone. I can handle it. To me, I take it as a challenge. I'm like, I'm as mad as they are. I'm like, you're going to be my friend when we're done with this conversation. I really try. But I totally get that. And there's people that it's not they don't even like it. They just don't want to talk on the phone. Super easy. Just hire a service. Like, we have a service that we've been using for years. I don't get any kickback from them at all. But there's a discount you can get through just saying Land Academy. They'll give you the discount. Yeah. And again, I don't get 20%. Anything. It's Pat Live. So so there are a lot of Land Academy people use them. I know a lot of other land people use them because they understand us and our product, and they're real good at answering our phones. So that's all you have to do is have a service set up. They'll take the calls for you. They'll ask all those questions. And at the end of the day, they'll just send you a report, and you'll know who to call back. And then it's easy from them, like, oh, this guy likes my offer and he's ready to go. And then that's the guy you call.
Well, we've been using a dialer to make outbound calls, and he just got tired of getting yelled at.
I'm sure you could reverse it too. Yeah.
Does Pat Live make outbound calls?
They might. I have to tell you, we've had some people we have an advanced group. It doesn't cost any more money. It's just people that we get together once a month and we talk about, like, what are you concerned about this month? And we've had recently people say, that catches up with you from there's spam laws and stuff about robocalling and specifically robotexting, and the fines are, we haven't had anybody fined in our group. Yeah. We've had the wrists slapped. Yeah. And so we tried all that stuff too. Yeah. And we stopped doing that on the outbound.
So that's the thing. When you switch from a phone call to a mail, it does weed a lot out. And
yeah.
So it's good.
Well, where I feel okay about it is I'm not trying to sell anything when we're dialing. We're just seeing if they want to sell something to us. But I get a bunch of robocalls.
Well, that's the thing.
Every single day. I've probably had 20 today. I had 5 since we've been talking.
I go,
Wow.
the beauty of it is too, is like when we're sending out, it's kind of like, I totally understand what you're doing. And I know that that's been a beautiful thing. We tweaked it by saying, we're sending you an offer and it's with a dollar amount. So even when because we've tested it, if I call someone, everybody's good. If I say, hey, do you want to sell? They're going to say, yeah, for 3 million or whatever. That's not my person. And I don't even want to get into that conversation. But sending out an offer with a number on it, they already know where I'm coming from. We're already got a feel for each other, and they're either going to entertain it or they're not. If they, so the person who never really wants to sell anyway, they're throwing it away. They want to die there. But the person who is really thinking about it going, this is not what I want, but I do want to sell, and I know this is a possibility, I reach back out to them.
The thing that you can do with mail that you can't do with any of these other venues without a hell of a lot of work is get really, really specific. Like when we send out house mail,
True.
Or mobile home mail, it's like, we're interested in buying your property for $22,332.24. They immediately say, how the hell did they come up with that number? Number one. And then I go on to say in the offer, and we realize that it's about an acre or 0.78 acres. And the mobile home that you have on the property is from 1958. Mm-hmm. And so it's probably a little bit weathered. So given all of that, that's what we're willing to pay. And we're willing to cash out of it in less than a week if that's what you want. So give us a call back. If you're not interested, sorry, we wasted your time. And by the way, there's a purchase agreement, right? Attached to it. 2. Please sign it and take a picture of it and email it to us, and we'll get right on it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
that's awesome.
It's real specific and very consistent and predictable results. Is it the cheapest way to do this? No. And people get hung up on that. And I understand that. If you're brand new at this and specifically for young people, it costs a few $1,000s to do this, to get it going. So I get that that's the real reason I think not the whole world is not doing this, is because it costs a few $1,000s to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're about out of time. I want you to show your appreciation to Jill and to Jack by putting a bunch of sevens in the chat. This is the Zoom way of applauding our guests with sevens, and you can see me applauding, but that chat's going to fill up with sevens here over the next few minutes. Put them in there, and just watch the chat. And thank you guys so much, so much, really. And we're going to continue the conversations, you and me, a little bit offline. But I'm hoping that we can find more ways to work together, and let me promote what you're doing. Okay, all right. So let's switch back over to the camera here, this camera, where I can. Chip, are you still there? I guess Chipper, you're here. Yep. All right. So we have a winner today, but I hear she left. Yeah, let's say that you have to be present to win. Let's give the course to whoever was next, who is still here. All right, Reese. Okay. All right. Let's see, Chip. All right, Reese. You have won the Real Estate Investing Quick Start course. I will send you an email. It may be a couple of days. I'm leaving after this to go out of town. To head to Louisville. So it may be a couple of days, but within a couple of days, we're going to get you started with the Real Estate Investing Quick Start course. Cool? Great. All right, everybody. This is great stuff. Eric says his wheels are turning. Mine too, Eric, and all of you. I know you're thinking about the possibilities. You want to get over there to landinvesting.com. That's where they started, right? Landinvesting.com. And then landinvestors.com, and then landacademy.com, and check out everything they have to offer. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Really, really a great time. Great call. And we'll be back tomorrow night, everybody, with Tan and Mike talking about Little Pink Houses. That's tomorrow. We'll see you.